Hello and welcome to Rose and Recap's Curse of Strahd edition. I am now the DM. I have too much fun with that. I am the DM and your host for this episode, Natalie Wallace, and with me I have Joshua Barbo, who is playing as one of my players, the poor unfortunate soul.
Yes, I am Neris.
The ranger who has been in Barovia for way too long. So, if you are not at all familiar with Curse of Strahd, it's a beloved story. We are currently playing the 5th edition version of it. So to recap the campaign so far, we have had some of our heroes get stranded in Barovia, thank you to this wonderful thick fog. They have no idea how they got there, and then they went through and suffered through this place called Death House, in which they met a paladin called Gregory Gregorovich, which Joshua played briefly. He died trying to save them, all well and great. They left Death House and Gregory's dying body with the instruction of finding someone named Neris, who is a grumpy drow who lives in the forest. They've been searching through Barovia to figure out how the hell to leave Barovia, only to encounter a fortune teller who gave them this long prophecy of which they continue to forget, to find these 3 items as well as a friend who will help them in their battle versus Strahd. They still don't know where Strahd is. They gotta go back for that information later.
He's everywhere.
It's kind of everywhere. The interesting part about running Curse of Strahd, I find, has been the focus is kind of on being a little bit evil. This is the place where people die. And then their souls don't leave, ever.
It's the D&D dark gothic horror setting.
And it's been a lot of fun to play. Now, I'm still a fairly new DM. I've only been DMing for a bit over a year now. Surprise.
It's been that long?
Curse of Strahd's been my first big campaign. I did a one-shot prior to that. But Curse of Strahd is my first big one. I've been working out of a book. It's been very interesting to work from something that's already created, because it's nice, you have all the resources available to you. That being said, you still have a lot of room to improvise. The interpretation of the characters are. I find it really kind of interesting that I can take Strahd, and while he is this overbearing, menacing creature, I can also have fun with him if I so choose to. It's been a very interesting experience, and it's why if you look at my poor book, it is just sticky noted to death.
The thing that I find about running games from a book, running adventures that are pre-written, I have a harder time remembering all the details than when it's stuff I came up with myself. When it's stuff I wrote myself, when it's characters I made myself, it stays in my memory indefinitely, almost. But when it's stuff I read from a book, hardly the case. So if I want to remember an NPC from an adventure, I need to take notes. And I mean, I see you've done lots of note taking.
I find also if I'm able to personalize them a little bit more, they become a little bit of my own characters. Some of the characters that are created in there, the NPCs, some of them are very well thought through, and you've got their values, their bonds, their motivations, and it's great. But some of the ones that are my favorite, I think, even out of the book, are the storekeeps that sell them their goods. I like being able to give them personalities. My favorite, I think, from Barovia, the city itself, has been Arik, the chef who owned the bar that only serves stew, and thinks that embellishments include just adding a sprig of parsley. Proper note-taking, and adding your own fun flair.
Yeah,
to the book.
You absolutely have to when you're running from a book. You've got to make it your own.
Yeah, and I think for that reason too, it makes it so that even if somebody's played Curse of Strahd before, the cool part about Curse of Strahd is utilizing the Taroka deck to find out where things get placed. So no matter what, you are always going to come out with a different campaign, which I think is the beauty of Curse of Strahd. You can go to Barovia and travel only to 2 places and get everything done. In other games, you'll travel the entire map. So it's kind of a neat way that it's always replayable and there's always more value.
Let me ask you a question.
Go for it. Interview me.
Yeah.
Interview with a vampire.
Oh. Curse of Strahd is the D&D gothic horror setting.
Yes.
It's the penultimate D&D gothic horror setting. It's a dark and depressing place. It's raining all the time. You're literally interacting with people that have no souls. Not figuratively, literally. The whole time you're in this realm, you're under the constant sense of doom because you're trapped here, and the only way out is through a vampire. powerful entity that the locals revere as a demon lord of some type.
Mhm.
Without a doubt, a dark and depressing place. But you've taken it and turned it into a light-hearted comedy, almost a farce of the original. Your version of Curse of Strahd is to Curse of Strahd what the Scary Movie series has been to the Scream series.
I was going for more a Cabin in the Woods vibe, but yes.
And so that was a very interesting creative choice that makes your game exciting and unexpected to play. Taking everything from the book seriously would probably get old after a while. We would get depressed by the world we live in. And you found a way to keep us in the dreary atmosphere while also maintaining a light-hearted, fun attitude about it.
Well, for me, that was really important, knowing my players and knowing that they probably wouldn't get motivated by a depressing story that's constantly harping on them. You guys are constantly being attacked and almost killed. Mm-hmm. That is a very real thing that's happening, and it is dark and it is depressing. But there's a lot of fun to be had within that makes it a lot more light and more entertaining to play. And that's kind of been my goal, knowing who you are as players, and I think that's something you always need to keep in mind as a DM. She says as the new DM. So
well, no, but it's definitely true, and it's definitely insightful. The idea that you might have a published setting that has its own presumptions about the way it's supposed to be run, but you can take that and you can apply your own tone to it and run it whatever way you please.
It's been a lot
and I
of
think
fun.
you've been doing so to great success with Curse of Strahd. One of my heroes, and one of the people who wrote this book, Christopher Perkins, this I think you would, if he knew about what kind of things you've been doing with his game, he would be proud.
Oh, good. I was worried you were going to say horrified.
Well, both. It can be both, right?
Probably both. It's been an exciting adventure, and I have really enjoyed throwing even myself as a DM into the story, because it's not just you guys that have entered into Barovia. I'm right there with you to help weave this all together. So for me, it's been also really fun and entertaining, especially with the colorful cast of characters.
You have some very colorful NPCs. But
Some
we'll talk
very
more about
NPCs.
that. We'll talk more about
On
that
another time.
in another time. This has been an episode of
Rogues and
Rogues
Recaps.
and Recaps.
Curse of Strahd edition.
God, are you going to do that voice every time?
Yes.
If you like our videos and want to see more, you can like and subscribe to them, or leave us a note in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If
Also,
you want to see some more content that we're working on,
check out chaoticrogue.com and find us on Twitter, where you will see some of the really weird stuff that happens in our campaigns.
didn't Strahd's Twitter account follow us because of the things that we've been posting?
We will talk about that one later, next time on Rogues and Recaps. I am...
Hello now.
No!
I'm Mordenkainen, the powerful wizard of neutrality. I am a Libra, like you.
Go
I
back.
have to keep things in balance.
Go back to your mansion.
No.